Hello, and welcome to the Female Founder Friday podcast with me, Lindsay White. I'm passionate about helping female entrepreneurs be great leaders, build high-performing teams, and create inspiring workplace cultures through innovative talent programs and practices. Because when people feel like they belong at work, they deliver their very best and businesses thrive. The Female Founder Friday podcast is all about connecting with the most incredible female entrepreneurs to talk about their journey to creating their own business, the mistakes they've made along the way, and how they view their own leadership. And I'm challenging all of my guests this season to take my leadership style quiz, and during each episode, we'll be digging into their leadership style and how it impacts the way they lead in their life and their business. And if you're interested in learning more about your leadership style and want some of my top tips to help you lead more effectively, you can take the quiz right now. Just check out the show notes or head over to highvoltageleadership.ca and click on the button at the top of the page that says Take the Quiz. Then you can share your results, connect with my guests, and join the conversation on Instagram by following me at highvoltleadership. Megan Hammond is my guest today, and she's the founder of Journey to Fulfillment. She has a super big passion for helping families, especially moms, take control of their lives and really become their best selves as they, pursue their dreams, like so many of us are doing. And she was co-author of the Happy Mom Handbook that she's going to offer to us today, that is really about some straightforward advice, some real life examples, and some really easy to follow tips that can help all of us. So I'm looking forward to having this conversation with her today. Hey, welcome everyone to the Female Founder Friday podcast. I have a great episode today. I have Megan Hammond here with me, and I know a little bit about her journey to being a female founder, but I'm pretty sure I don't know the whole story. So I'm as curious as you are to find out more about Megan. So welcome. Thank you for being here and being so willing to chat with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on your podcast today.
Yeah, it's totally my pleasure. I'm so glad that it worked out. So tell us, what's the story? What's the journey?
So it's been a long journey, as with, I think everyone's going through everything in their life. But I think really it started with COVID, as a lot of things have started with COVID.
Yep.
Over the past, 18 years, my husband and I, we are definitely entrepreneurs and have started a lot of different businesses, been in a lot of different things. And so, we enjoy that part of life. And with COVID, we, everyone was having a rough time with that. We have 3 kids, and at the time we were kind of just thrown into, good luck. You have to figure out with your kids and all of that stuff. Yeah. And we were very, finding out how to work things, how to work it into our life and make our life a little bit easier. And from COVID and seeing how people were struggling, I guess we just had a lot of things already in place to make it a little bit easier on us. And we did have a lot of people come, friends and stuff coming up and being like, how are you doing that? And how are you doing that? And stuff like that. And just kind of, giving little bits and pieces of what we're trying and what's worked with us. And so after that, we've probably within the last 6 months, we've just kind of had this feeling like there's just something that we needed to do with kind of how we've built up things in our life to make it a little bit easier. So we kind of came up with the Happy Mom Handbook that we have, and kind of went that way. And that's kind of where our journey started. And it's just kind of it's a handbook basically to, help moms who are, a lot of them are working, have their own business and stuff like that, but how to give them that extra little bit of time to give to themselves, to take care of themselves. Because that was a big thing, I think, during COVID, is taking that time to, self-care and to kind of slow down and, hey, you're doing great. You can do this. And we just, it's just a handbook of how to help, give you ideas like, hey, a meal plan, try meal planning. It'll give you maybe 30 extra minutes like a day
Yeah.
to kind of take to yourself. And so that's kind of where our journey started. Just, we saw a need to help people in our, in kind of the same similar situations, entrepreneurs, moms who were working, families who were, both parents were working, and just kind of saw the need that people needed help in that way. And we're definitely not perfect in any way in that area, but we were able to, find ways to like shortcut and give us more time.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, COVID was hard on everyone.
Yeah.
Full stop. But it was really hard to be a working parent during COVID. I know that I had friends and colleagues absolutely breaking down because the need to work, especially as entrepreneurs and female founders.
And I'm sure you understand that.
Well, we were all terrified about what was going to happen with the economy and our businesses. But then we all also feel incredible responsibility to support our children's education. Mm-hmm. And it was really hard to understand and just, from a Friday to a Monday, just pick up becoming a teacher, essentially, a teacher's aide at the very least. I had friends and colleagues absolutely breaking down because of the stress of that. It was enormous. So any kind of hack or tip or shortcut is invaluable in that space. And why wouldn't you continue to try and find an easier way to get all the things done? Because that's really important. So I love it. I love that you took what people were asking you, how do you do it? How were you making that work? And turn that into something you can share with others.
Yeah. It's been good. We've learned a lot.
Yeah, I bet. Well, and it sounds like, you and your husband are partners in your business. We're interviewing you today, but you're partners. And so it sounds like this isn't your first entrepreneurial journey. You've been doing this for quite a while. Tell us about that.
Yeah, he started off in construction, graduated in construction management. And then, in 2008, 2009 with the crash, we were like, he was let go. And so we figured, let's try, something else. And so we got into, we both had our real estate license. We've had that for a while.
Okay.
And worked that way. And then we started, flipping houses before it became, popular and the thing to do.
Right.
And then that market kind of got saturated with all the shows that came out, and it just wasn't, worth it anymore to us. And it was just harder because we like to, travel and stuff like that. And it's just harder to do that when you're trying to, remodel a house and sell it.
Right.
And so then he's just started a lot of like social marketing, and we've, done that, a lot of e-commerce stuff now. We actually started a business with our daughters because we wanted to teach them the importance of, being able to come up with these great ideas and do something for themselves and kind of instill that entrepreneurship in them. And so we started up a little Etsy business with them, with our three girls, to kind of get them on that road, and they love it. And it's transformed into more of a family business than we just thought it'd be like this little, side hustle thing. But now it's definitely more of a family business. But it's been great because we've been able to instill that, hey, you can do anything. Like, you're, and that's kind of my big thing is, even though you're a girl, you can do it. You can start your own business. You can. And so we've been wanting to instill that, and just money sense and all that. So we just have a bunch of different, things that we've started. We enjoy it.
I love that. I love that it's like you're a really entrepreneurial family, not just an entrepreneurial couple. And that I got to tell you, I don't know if we've ever had that on the show before. That you've got your three girls doing they're in school and they're doing a side hustle. I really love that because
it's been fun.
Giving them some really important lessons, I think, also helping them understand that there's lots of ways to make money, right?
Yes. You don't need to do that, the job for 30, 40 years and 9 to 5. Like, if there's something you want to try, like try it and see if it works out. And like, there's ways to go about it.
Yeah. So I love it. And I'm sure, the work ethic, the dedication, the accountability, like those are all incredible lessons for young women to learn, whether they decide they're going to be entrepreneurs long-term or not. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And I totally respect that some people really enjoy being inside. And I mean, even me, I like working with a team. So being an entrepreneur can be lonely. Yeah. But if nothing else, you learn some incredible life skills. You got some financial literacy too, which is something that so many women I work with as female founders leave their corporate job and really have no ability to understand the finances in a business. What's a P&L? What's a balance sheet? How to, create invoices, right? Like none of that. So I like, that's actually thrilling. I just think that's super cool. I think that's super cool. I love it. Okay, well, Megan's already taken my leadership style quiz, and we're going to talk about her leadership style, which I'm sure is very interesting inside her family business and working with her husband as a partner. So I love that we're going to dig into that. If you want to know what your leadership style is, you can check out the link in the show notes, hit that, or go to the website, highvoltageleadership.ca. There's a little orange button at the top of the page. It says, take the quiz. You can do it right now. It only takes a couple minutes. It's fun. It's informative. You're going to learn something about yourself. And I'm going to send you some of my top tips on how to be a great leader and be more effective right now today. So tell us, Megan, what's your leadership style? What does that mean for you?
Okay. So I do kind of remember parts of your quiz, and it was actually really interesting because there's some of them I do like. I was like, oh yeah, for sure, that's me.
Yeah.
And then some of them, like, I don't know, I didn't think that was really me, but in turn, like after taking it, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that, that does make sense. But my leadership is I'm definitely an organizer. I like schedules. I like to know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I do have a harder time just kind of flying by the seat of my pants.
Sure.
I have to like mentally prepare to do that.
Yeah.
I guess, because that's just not my personality. So leadership, I am definitely organized, and in all of our businesses that we've done, and just even home life and homeschool. We do homeschool with our 3 girls. Like that is definitely the organized one. We have schedules. So that's one of my strong ones. Making a plan, like that's another one of my strong leadership qualities. Is I like plans. It goes along with my schedule and being organized. I have a better control of my day, and I can, plan, to insert, time for myself or things that need to get done and stuff like that. And, that also is just having a schedule, whether it's a daily schedule. I do have like a weekly schedule that not everything's set out, but I'm like, okay, this I know is going to happen.
Right.
This is going to happen and stuff like that. So I think those are some of my strong leadership qualities. And definitely from your test, those popped up. I'm just, organized, schedule, I'm the plan. And that kind of, your test just reiterated to me that those are
I love it.
My strong qualities. So.
Yeah. And I think, so it sounds like you're really, you're really supportive in your leadership style as well, in terms of making sure that others feel like, they can understand the organization. They know what's on the schedule, all of those things. That's so important, especially because we are all trying to combine family and business and trying to create, I like to call it work-life blend. I don't talk about work-life balance because I don't think that's possible. We've got so many things going in so many different directions. We have to integrate them.
Exactly.
And if everyone knows what the schedule is and everyone understands the plan and things are well laid out and well structured, then everyone can get on board and you can support that in a meaningful way. And I really love that, because being a supportive leader, especially when you've got kids and you're working with your partner, you have to be able to support everyone in finding their own way to do that. So I love that, Megan. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's one thing that we did start, and I don't know if I heard this from somewhere, but even like my girls, like at first I was like, oh, they don't care about, what we have going on during the week, and it's not that big of a deal to them. But we've started on like Sundays is meeting together as kind of like a family meeting or whatever.
Love it.
To kind of go throughout our week. And we have noticed that our girls tend to go throughout the week a lot, I don't know, more smoothly, or their week does, because they know what's coming. They know what to anticipate. And I think that's great when you have like a team that you're working with, is just giving them that, okay, here's like a week in advance of what we're looking at. So everyone's on the same page. And I didn't realize, for, like I said, for kids, if that was going to be that big of a deal, but at least for my girls, like it was, and seeing that, wow, like, they enjoy knowing what the schedule is just as much as I do.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It was just, I don't know why I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
Like,
right. No, I think that's genius. And this is, again, as working moms and as female entrepreneurs, there's so many things that intersect. And I love that there's the intersection there between the team I have at home and the team I might be working with in my business. Mm-hmm. And the more information I can give them, the more transparent I can be without, giving away the farm. The more transparent I can be, people will get on board. They'll have greater understanding. First of all, they feel trusted and included. Like, if nothing else, your girls or the team you're working with in your business, they feel trusted. They feel included. They feel like they're connecting to something that's greater than themselves. Exactly. They feel more organized. They have comfort that there's a plan. Mm-hmm. I think that makes sense for your kids and for the people that work for you, whether they're contractors or employees. Giving them that insight really helps them develop greater understanding and see the purpose in their work, the contribution that they make. And so I love the intersection of that, Megan. That's an incredible sort of way to highlight it. Yeah.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. I like that a lot.
It took me a while to come to that, but I don't know why it was so difficult. But
well, and in all of that, I can see where, and I don't know what age your girls are. You got to give them the information they can handle and process. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Same thing with your team. You got to give them the information that they can handle and process and that's pertinent. Mm-hmm. You don't want to reveal like trade secrets or anything, like, right?
Yeah.
But again, I can see the beautiful parallels, and I think that's a great way to illustrate it. And just including your family and what you're doing. Hey, this is what's up for us in the business. This is the things that are coming down the pipe. This is when it might get busy. This is maybe when we could plan our holidays. Like, just, having that insight through the organization, because you can't do that if you're not organized like Megan is. I think that's such a great thing to pull out. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I always ask my guests, because I think it definitely always lends a little humor to the conversation. But there's also something really important to pull out, which is, where have you made mistakes or missteps or screw ups or whatever you want to call them? But also, what have you learned? Like, what's come out of that? What's the gift or the opportunity from those mistakes?
I think a lot of the things that are in the handbook that we have were actually mistakes or
I love it.
Things that I have, or that we both, my husband and I, have learned to overcome or to learn from those mistakes.
Love it.
Some of them are just, I don't know, simple, like we have a block schedule on there that they are able to download. And so, like, for me, it's coming up with ideas on my own doesn't necessarily work for me. Like, hearing things or seeing things done, I'm like, oh, that's such a great idea. And so we have a lot of those in our handbook to be like, hey, if you're having a hard time with scheduling, here's a block scheduling, thing that we use. And then we go and show them how to do it. We have a podcast that they can listen to where we're like, hey, this is how we use our scheduling, our block scheduling, and do that.
Yeah.
So that's super helpful.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a failure because like I had my schedule in my mind, but I'd always forget things. And so having it, written down was a huge thing. That was like, oh, okay, that makes so much easier. Why didn't I do that before?
Yeah, right.
And like,
duh.
And then,
Yeah.
Just little simple things. And like, other things on our, in our handbook are like meal schedules. Like when you're working, like, I don't know, what's going to be for dinner is kind of the last thing on your mind. Like it's when you get home, it's like, oh, what are we going to have for dinner? Like we were at swim lessons last night for my girls, and I was overhearing the little girl's like, hey mom, I'm hungry. Like, what are we going to have for dinner when we get home? She's like, I have no idea what we're going to do. And the little girl was like, can we have spaghetti? And she's like, I don't have any pasta sauce at home. And I was thinking, that's, interesting, because like we have a meal schedule to where I have laid it out and been like, hey, on Monday we're doing this, Tuesday we're doing this. And so that everyone knows what we're doing. And we're trying to, like with our girls, be like, hey, do you want to help with Tuesday's meal? They know what it is and they can do that. And so like in our handbook, there's a sample meal schedule to be like, here's an idea. Like, I'm not going to lay it out for you and be like, this is what you should have on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but here's an idea. And so that was definitely a failure that I have been through, because it was like forever, because I just didn't want to put in the time to do a meal schedule. And I just was like, it's not that hard to think of things like on the fly for dinner. But as life got busy with work and school and kids, I realized that a meal schedule was a thing that I needed that will help me have sanity in my life. And so like I said, a lot of things in the handbook are mistakes that we made continually and then finally like learn from them. And it's just, I think the biggest one that I've learned is just putting myself first a lot of times in things. And I know with women in, business and with women business owners, they have a hard time putting themselves first. And that's a huge thing, because if you don't take care of yourself, my husband always brings this up. It's like on the airplane, like they tell you, if you have a kid, put your mask on first and then their mask. And so if you can't take care of yourself, taking time for yourself and, whether it's just working out for, 30 minutes a day or going on a walk, then you're going to have a harder time being there for your family and for your team that you work with and other people. And
it's so true. It's so true.
And I'm sure you've talked to plenty of women and even ones that you've interviewed on your podcast and stuff like that, they've probably learned to take time for themselves and realize how important that is.
It is the number one thing that goes by the wayside when we, again, particularly, I think, for women, particularly for those of us that own our own businesses, because we put our heart and soul into them. And we are still mothers and partners and sisters and besties and all of the other roles and hats that we wear. And it is very, very easy to lose sight of ourself on the priority list. I think, that's something I hear. Doesn't matter how old or young or how experienced. It's something that I think is so easy to let it slip. And we forget about what's important to us. We lose our own value system sometimes in the process of building our businesses. And so you're right. Just finding some space. If it's working out for 30 minutes, great. If it's a 10-minute walk, like if that's all you can get in. If you got to run up and down the stairs 3 times between meetings, if you just stand up for a meeting, like it has to fit, it has to be personal. But I think you're right. It's so important. But I love that your handbook is really based on hey, this is the stuff we didn't do very well.
Mhm.
And here's some ideas around how we fixed it and what you might want to try. Because I
Yeah.
think you got to find the right cadence for your own family.
And yeah, some of the things in that handbook, you're gonna, they could be like, yeah, that did not work for me, which everyone's totally different. But there are things that they could be like, yeah, that really, that was helpful. Or maybe they tweak it a little bit to, make it work just for them. Like,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
And these are just, suggestions that we have learned that has helped us with our business and life, and having that blend that you said, the blend of work and family. And it's just been helpful. And that's, I'm like, there's other people I know who are in the same situation that we are. And so none of this we came up with ourselves. It was all just through, other coaching that my husband's been through, and books that we've read, and podcasts that we listen to. But it's all in one place to where you're not having to scour the whole internet for ideas or help. So
yeah, I love that. Well, and speaking of that, you've got something special to offer whoever's listening. Yes,
it is a giveaway of our book, to where they can go download the book. They can go to Amazon and buy it if they would really like to. But we will actually be having just our book free of download.
Awesome.
Our handbook free of download to your listeners. Just
awesome.
Just go to the website, and
I
that's
love
where you can download it for free. So
okay, we're going to make sure that we have that special link, which I thank you for offering. I mean, that was something when I first heard from Megan and Eric, that was something that they offered right away, is that they wanted to share this. Because as you can tell, Megan's real passionate about, hey, I made these mistakes. I learned this stuff. I can share this. I can help somebody. And so we'll make sure that we put that link in the show notes so that you can go and download it and use what you can. Take what you can, leave the rest, as I like to say. And if one thing helps make your life a little easier, makes that blend a little bit better, then that's a huge win for us here on the show and for Megan. So I love that. Thank you for offering that to the people that listen to the show, the women that work so hard in their own businesses. I'm super grateful for that.
Yes, I'm excited to, if they do download it and find things that help them, like it'll just bring them more power to them and help them find that joy in their life that they're looking for. So. Yeah,
I love that. Because that's what work-life blend is all about, is, being able to have a joyful existence, have a great business, have a great lifestyle, have a great family, and feel really good about who you are in the center of all of that. So I really love that.
Exactly.
Thank you. I can't thank you enough for this conversation today, for sharing your journey and sort of offering the audience something really special to take away. I'm super grateful to have had you on the show.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I enjoyed as well being on here and talking with you, and it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. So
I'm so glad. That always makes me happy when someone comes to be a guest and says, that was great, because that's what this is all about, is having some fun, telling some stories, having a great chat.
It was. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. I sure hope you enjoyed listening as much as I did hosting this conversation. And if you did enjoy today's episode, would you do me a favor? Would you give the episode a 5-star review and share it with all of your friends? I would really appreciate that. I've got a goal to impact 1,000 female founders, and with your help, we can really amplify this message. Thanks again for being a part of the show, and don't forget to connect with me and all of my guests on Instagram at High Volt Leadership. We'll see you next Friday.